tools necessary for this chapter. Here's what we need, and we need the XYZ frame. So this all comes in the box. So part-wise, we have a power supply right here. We have the extrusions and plates right here. There's a motor kit. Move this off to the side, because I don't think we need this right now. Rods, which we don't necessarily need until later. So we'll put them off to the side. Alright. And then here's the frame steel sheet. We're gonna need this. Alright. What we also have so here are the parts that we're going to need. What we also have is we have everything printed in ABS. So here are all the fasteners we're going to use. I went ahead and reprinted all the parts in ABS. Just mix them in with the bag. Here is an example of some accent parts. It's printed in Galaxy Teal from Polymaker. So came out really nice, really close up. It has some sparkles. I don't know if the camera's going to capture it, but there's some glitter in there. So I'm going to put these off to the side along with this big bag of parts right here too. Grab them as we need them. Alright, let's go back to this. So we need the following parts. We need the massive frame. This right here. And then we're also going to need the extrusions. This frame piece is solid metal, and they did this honeycomb thing on the back, which it's actually really nice. Just a honeycomb. So it's Prusa MK4 pretty nice. fasteners. Remember in our 3 kit, all the fasteners came in their own little baggies. Here are the fasteners for the frame, and you would have a little bag of frame fasteners. Now they opted for 2 bags just labeled fasteners, and all the screws are you gotta figure it out for yourself. So let's go back to the browser and figure out what we need. We're gonna need M5x16R screws. We're gonna need 16 of them. That can be found in bag 1. Pull them out. Let's see, M5x16. There's 34 pieces in here, 2 spares. Okay, so that's those. Alright, let's go back to building this thing. Actually, I'm going to need a window top here. Actually here. That should be pretty good. Takes less space. Alright, so we are attaching long extrusions to the front. Take the long extrusions, place them next to the frame, make sure the Prusa logo is on the front side. The screws are inserted from the outside side of the frame, make sure the frame is correct side again. Correct holes. Oh, look at that. Now it is a 4 I guess I don't know first number. But 4 holes. So that is going to be 8 screws each for a total of 16. So we're going to cross piece right now. It's actually going quite easily. Kind of self itself. Screws really nicely. It feels very high quality. You don't want to tighten these until we have to all in. I bet with this frame, all these screws, it's going to be 16 on these and 16 on 4, and there's a plate and back for every other 16, so I'll probably build the whole frame right here, all at once. doing it diagonally just to kind of pull in all the directions at the same time instead of top and bottom. Hopefully find skew on the frame. And I'm not tightening all the way, just getting them close. But then once I have all tight close. This is still space. Flush, but not tighten. Flush, tighten. Once we have all flush, just barely tighten, and start pattern. Starting this one, moving diagonally. So this one, tighten next, and this one, tightening it, and this one, tightening it. Alright, let's move to the next step, which is most likely going to be the IC frame mounting the shorter extrusion. So the shorter extrusions go in the back, and then go into these little extrusion holes that are prepared for them. Go ahead and switch to this one. So that's what they look like. They go in here, and we will still be using the M5 by 16R screws. Well, look at that, but in a diagonal pattern. See the last picture. So notice they also recommend the diagonal pattern here, just because it helps make that frame less skewed. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's mount that. So here are the shorter extrusions. They go into these holes right here. I'll flip this whole thing to make it easier to see. These extrusions, there's actually a small little cutout for them right here. The cutout is not of exact size. I mean, they fall in, but they have quite a bit of wiggle room. It's not a tight fit by any means. Tightening the screws is really going on their own. Once you have the first one, diagonally you want to connect the next one. That will help you with the alignment of the other two screws. It'll make it just much easier for you to do. Two of them in. They are not even flush yet, so I'm just going to put these other ones in before I start tightening stuff. I like to do a lot of my installation with these long hex keys. Sometimes they don't fit, like in this situation, it's kind of close and keep digging on it. In the kit, I think it comes with the ball end ones in the Prusa toolkit. Let's see what they have here. Maybe they have something we can actually use to make this less ringing. So we got the famous red screwdriver. Oh, look at this. There's an Allen wrench now. But yeah, there is one in here. That is a ball end wrench. Will it even fit? It's too small. Yeah, they don't have a ball end for these end guys. So we're just going to use this. Getting into the surface, not really tightening it. I just want them to sit flush. Okay, we're going to go diagonal. So this one, we did this bottom one, now this one. We're going to move over to this top one, and I'm going to move back down to the bottom one. You don't really need to tighten these like crazy. Just tight is good. Alright, moving on to the other side, we're going to do the exact same thing. And toss some of these. So, top corner. ABS printer parts. The tolerances of my memories, they seem to be the same, but the tolerances are supposed to be lower than my micrometer measure. I don't actually know if the ABS parts will work. Definitely is a let's get that over the surface. And we finally screw it on. It's pretty flush and flat. Alright, let's go back to here and let's see. Alright, before we proceed further, let's make it. It is very important to have extrusions on the correct side of the frame. Long extrusions must be mounted to the side with the frame with Prusa logo. Also ensure longer extrusions are closer together. Check. You can't see, but I just checked. Shorter extrusions must be in the back and they must be further away. Check. Alright, next is this piece right here. So we need the front plate and the rear plate. There is a sticker with a serial number on the rear plate. Keep in mind, we use it as a guide to orient the part later. Do not remove the sticker. It's probably going to be facing backwards. Front plate probably doesn't matter which way. And here we are going to need M5, look at that, the other 16 screws, and we need the M3 NE nuts, which are these. Interesting. Wonder where those will go and what we'll use it for. So let's see. So we are going to install this front plate right here with the longer extrusions, and we're going to secure it with the screws, and don't tighten them yet. Tighten the screws fully but in a diagonal pattern. So they want us to diagonally tighten those screws. Okay, let's get that piece done right here. So here's the front of the machine, and I have the front plate here. It looks like the orientation is like this, so it's going to use the feet. I have not welded those M3. I'm pretty sure they're the extrusion nuts or something like that on them. I haven't pulled those out, so I don't believe them yet. This part also is a mirror itself, so no matter which way you install it, works into it correctly. I'm going to get this top one threaded in just so and then turn on this. People a speed competition. Takes about 10 hours to build these according to some person on the internet. Someone else said, I'm your second section we should do it in 1 hour. Fascinating to build this frame, especially someone building these. I wonder how many they put every day. I'm gonna go flush to the surface with all rather I'm going to do the diagonal recommending now. And light tighten it in a diagonal pattern. Just kind of hold the surface with a slight tug. So that that's good. Move on to the opposite mirror on this side. Get it. Surface. Fine. Now that all we're in, so going diagonally here, we're gonna tighten. I think a quarter. Same with this one. Give it a quarter turn. Going out. Quarter turn. More give it a turn. We don't do that for that. Start like two and so top. And then we're gonna go up. Alright, that one in. Let us move on to the back. Already at 26 minutes. And I barely built the frame. Alright, this is an important step. If the M3 and E nuts are placed incorrectly, you will have issues with assembly later. Alright, let's make sure we install those nuts correctly. They want 2 nuts on this side. They want 2 nuts on that side. And the spacing doesn't matter. We just need to get them in onto both sides. So let's see, it originally said that we needed 4 of them, so 2 on each side. I'm gonna find those nuts somewhere in the bag. You can find those nuts in fasteners 1 out of 2. So in the first bag. Should be identify. They're actually much bigger. So there's 5 in the bag. There's one spare. They look a lot different than the like an M3 roll-in nut that you would normally use when building other things using extrusions. And it looks like we're done with these. So I'm gonna put this on the side since we're not using this anymore. In a different bag or in this box when I know I'm done with a specific fastener, so I don't get these confused and mixed up, or that I'm not looking through the same one over and over again. But yeah, these nuts are much bigger, so they fit into the full extrusion. They make you put them in now because there's no way to get this in later. You'd have to disassemble this back plate in order to get them in. So, alright, 2 on this side. The spacing doesn't matter. They go in really easily and they just kind of float around in there. Very easy to move them. Once you put a screw in and tighten them, that's when they'll stop moving. So, let's put them in on the other side. 1 and 2. And now that these are in, I assume we're going to mount this final back piece. And the final back piece, let's go back to the instructions here, is going to look like this. We need to make sure the serial number faces outward, points in that direction in the screws. So, and again, back to the diagonal pattern. We're still going to be doing that diagonal pattern. So, also, after this, we'll be done with these N5 screws as well. So we're going to put those off to the side completely. Aim off the edge of the table here, just so I can grab one of these screws. It looks like it will lift the frame just a millimeter or 2. But I wanted to grab these corners, so I'm going to do the corners plus the diagonals and I'll turn it right back around. Also, just kind of pre-threading them, not going in too deep just yet. We're going to follow the proper tightening instructions for screws like this for a frame. Usually if you're building anything, really anything ever, that is like a frame, it's a rigid construction, so you have to follow these rules to make sure that when you tighten the screws, you're not bending that frame or causing it to just be in the wrong direction. There's a lot of videos you can watch online for people who are building stuff. And if you're ever changing the tires on your car, same thing, right? You need to tighten the screws in a star pattern, and that just makes sure that the kind of the tension is evenly displaced onto that wheel. It doesn't cause it to wobble or bend out of shape. It's not like this frame, if I were to tighten it incorrectly, would bend a visible amount, but it could create stress in the frame where it's just 1 degree bent, and then you put the bed on and it goes to start printing, you'll just have issues constantly where it'll either tell you that the bed is not flat, and you'll be scratching your head going, what did I do, which screw is it? So it's best just to always follow this rule. Even in situations where you don't need it, it's just better to think about how you put this material. Alright, put those screws away. We're going to go diagonal, in, and this first pass, I'm just getting it flush with the frame. So once the screw touches the metal, I'm leaving it alone. And those are flush. And going outside. So this top screw first, this one, and then I'm going diagonally down. This bottom screw. I know probably doesn't help using a black wrench on a black frame. Can't really see which one I'm tightening. You can't even really see how far the screws are. And then going upwards to this screw right here. Tighten this one. And finally this corner. Alright, now that we have it to frame, we're going to tighten. So top corner, tug, diagonal move, tighten it, give it a little tug, take a turn, tighten this one, and tighten this one. Over the side, top corner first, move diagonal down. This one. Alright. We have a frame built. We got the M3 nuts in on both sides. And now it's probably going to tell us to go beat a gun bearers. Alright. Y-axis geometric check. Make sure it is standing on a flat surface. The table's pretty flat. The frame screw openings are drilled by a high precision CNC machine. Uneven tightness during assembly can slightly warp the frame. It can be corrected though. Using your hand, try to wiggle your frame side to side to check whether some of the corners are lifting up. Okay. Let's see what we got. Side. We have the slightest wobble. I think it's the table. This is not a problem. We can correct it later. Let me change it over here. These can be installed flush and correct. backwards exactly how I want to. So I think it worked. But maybe I'll find out I was wrong later. Alright, let us go back to the browser. So in case you find release the screws, then tighten them again. Huh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna try just to retighten these on the flat surface one more time. Just the ones that are wobbling. Wow. That was in there. That eighth of a turn really locks it in. So, and I'm gonna kind of push down on the whole assembly like this, and I'm gonna tighten. And let me actually. I think I'm still on the browser. Whoops. So I release these four here. Seems to be in the front, right, back, left. So I release this one a bit. And release a little more. Just release the back one, so that you can try to start it correctly. So the amount of lumber in here is like half a meter in here. So let's tighten using the same rule, diagonal tightening, starting with our front right corner. Left, tighten. Two. This one. It's probably hardly time to get the frame to fly. Okay. We're still maybe half a millimeter. It's not significant. Hard to tighten, especially this angle. There. It's this one. Gives me a little bit more leverage on the screw. Alright. Have you reduced the wobble? That's about the same exact amount, and that is like a third of a millimeter wobble. So we are within tolerance. move on to the next step. So we have the geometry is good. We're going to mount the anti-vibration feet and cable clips. So we need 4 anti-vibration feet and 7 cable clips. I remember the anti-vibration feet in the M3 kits. The cable clips are new. Those are actually kind of cool. So let me go ahead and find those. This is what the anti-vibration feet mounting will look like. And the cable clips are actually going to go inside the extrusion. That's pretty cool. Doesn't look like these parts are 3D printed, which is kind of sad. If you ever wanted more, use them for a different application. Looks like they're injection molded, but I bet you could 3D print them if you wanted to. Wonder if they would be just as sturdy. Alright, they are not in the fastener bags. It looks like they are in a bag labeled frame. So you want this bag's frame. Here are all these fun parts. And there's a pulley in here. I don't know how pulley is part of our frame, but okay. I think it may be a pulley. Alright, 4 anti-vibration feet. So I can pull those over there. 7 in the bag. So we move those all in the bag. Side. Let's start with the anti-vibration feet. Place here. The feet go in just straight. They have a cut like that. So you put them in straight, and then you lock them in. You place those that offset from. I think where I wanted them. Again. 3, 4. All right. That's pretty simple. Let's go back here. Let's make sure the feet are in the right spot. Look at that. That's high precision right there. It's exactly where I put them. All right. Next with the cable clips. So they want in this green area right here. Okay, this is I think how my printer is currently standing. No, I'm gonna rotate it so it is standing exactly the same for me as in the photo. Okay, if I'm looking at it, it's exactly the same. And I'm turn the frame like the picture focus. Take one of the cable clips and hook the side of the cable clip. There's a hook on the part. Place the other end of the clip on the other side of the extrusion. Use more force. Okay. Let's go back to this. I have it oriented this way. This is I think exactly how it is in the photo. And go back quick to the photo. They want to install here at the bottom in this area. And looking a little bit closer at the photo, the cable clip should go right here with this side pointing upwards like this. And the way this goes in is you clip it in from the top and then down the side. Look at that. That's pretty easy. They don't show how far. It looks like it's just fingers length. And I think I got it the same. You can see it right here. My finger doesn't really fit in there. I don't think it really matters. It's just the cable clip for the cables. So I have six more. Right, they got that. Look at that. So we just put that first one in, two more on the same one, two more back. And let's get that first. We'll get confused. So they want one or more, a little bit down, right here, following the same parts orientation. That part kind of falls in there, and just like that. And then this last one goes in right before the foot. So find the right foot, go right in this rubber foot, because you'll notice the rubber feet where they have these little protrusions on them. Spin it in the other direction so I can get the clip right close to that. Although that might have been a good spacer to use just to not make it up against the rubber foot, but cable spacers parts don't necessarily matter that much. They're just meant to the cables. Keep them where we want them. All right. And they want the bottom. Look at this photo here really quick. That's exactly how I have it. Good. So we're gonna do two more here in the same orientation. So first one here. And the second one goes in. Much later. There's two here. Hey, let's hold the cable. I'm all for good cable management. I love good cable management. Looks pretty. Nice. Alright. Those two are clipped in. Let's see how hard it is to move. Oh, pretty easy. Just make sure you pressure. So we got that one. Then the other two go on the other side facing inward, short extrusion. So this. The printer is now oriented exactly the same way as on the photo. You can see here. So we are going to add two more right down here. Start bottom one. And clip it in. I bet you there's a way that it's like an angle. Yeah. You put pressure on the piece that goes down on the clip top. If you apply the add an angle, it goes in. Nice and easy. All right. PSU prep. This step, prepare PSU M3 by 10 screws. Two of them M4 by 10 screws with the dome head, two of them. Oh, look at that! The PSU is designed to automatically adapt to the voltage. Wow. Hashtag engineering. That's amazing. I remember back in my day when you had to set the voltage on PSUs. And you had to tell them that you wanted 120 volt, 240 volt. So it's actually pretty cool. Now on that. Although I bet you it's just a small simple circuit. So it's a PSU. Very cool. I think these are also custom made because if you've ever bought a power supply, right? Here's your 24 volt power supply. Here's where the power comes out. I have this additional header here. Maybe it's just me, but I don't feel like I've seen that on here. It's on power panic. So it's doing something where it's basically saying, hey, turn off the power or I've never actually seen the PSU shutdown. I've seen power panics before where like the thermistor cable went bad, but that will actually shut down the printer and stop printing and it'll keep the bed and everything. But the whole printer doesn't shut down. Bet you there's something in the firmware where you know things go terribly wrong, something blows sort of fuse. It maybe shuts down the power supply, prevent damage. Although it would be interesting to see how that works. All right. Let's go off to the side. Let's grab what we need for this. So we need M3 by 10, two of them, and M4 by 10R. M4 by 10 and M3 by 10 can both be found in bag 1 out of 2. M3 by 10s come in this. Not a huge fan of baggies where you rip the bag and then all the screws fall out. They don't come in a little zip baggie. It's a little bit disappointing. I'm gonna use this other bag. I don't want to lose them. There's only two spares. Entire bag. I really like the previous kit. You know, little zip baggies you took out however many you needed. You zip the bag back up, put it off to the side, and you always know where those screws work. Alright, so we need 2 of these M3 by 10s. So I got them right here. Gonna place it right over here. And then we need M4 by 10R. And see, this is fascinating because this one did come in a zip baggie, except there's only 3 screws in it. So wouldn't it be much better to put this one, like I'm about to use all the screws for the entire assembly of this type right now. This baggie is now useless, and I assume these baggies cost more money, and that's why these are now packaged this way, and this rip it open, can't close it again. But I feel like the other screws, to me, are more important to be in this zipper bag because I don't want them flying everywhere. Whereas this one, you know, I'm about to use the 2 screws. Unless there's something else and there's another bag of them, there's only 2 for the entire assembly. So now that goes off to the side and don't necessarily need it anymore. Also, they send a bag of spares, which is interesting because, you know, what is it? There's a whole bag here labeled spare, yet the screws each have their own spares. So, why is it that way? I don't know. By now you've probably realized I'm not sponsored at all by Prusa. If Prusa would like to sponsor me and send me more of these printers to build, I'm all for it. I will stop talking all crap and I will only say positive things. I'm kidding. I'll only say the truth. Alright, PSU parts preparation. We currently have all the parts here that we need. And we are going to mount it. So attaching the PSU, have a look at the right side of the frame and locate the M3E nuts inserted. This is the part of the frame right by that serial number sticker. And it looks like we are going to put the screws in partially and they're going to fall into these holes. And then we're going to put the power supply in from the top. Then we're going to turn the frame and we're going to install the M4 screws from the side. This is a fairly trivial thing, so let's go ahead and get the entire thing done. It's only 4 screws. So here is the frame that we have. Here's the power supply. Move it off to the side. Power supply goes on this side. It's the exact same size as the M3 Prusa printers. Screws in right here. 1 and 2. And these are still moving around like crazy, so we'll probably align them properly. We definitely will align them once we put the power supply on. So here's the power supply. And we get it fall into the first screw and the second screw. And there we go. They are in. Kind of hard to see, but I'll go ahead and lift it up. And that's the angle. And 3 screws, so we're going to need a smaller one to keep it turned. I'm using my 2.5mm Allen key. And I'm going to take these all the way, because I don't think these go all the way down. I'm going to make sure I get the screws from the front in first. I'm just going to lightly tighten those. It's not holding the power supply. I don't notice the jiggles. That obviously is running. Gets together. Alright, and then the front screws fall in. Again, M2 2.5. Yeah. It actually needs to go a little bit higher. It doesn't sit directly flush on the bottom screws. Put the first screw in. Grab your second M4. Something screw. Screw the second one in. And I'm not tightening these yet. I want to make sure I get them both in. And then let's just go back here. Yeah, this ended up. Notice it's not like at the bottom. It's kind of halfway up. But this is just going to provide the backward push towards the frame. These 2 front screws that you see right here are the ones fully holding the power supply. I am providing rigidity in both axes so that the power supply is actually kind of strengthening the frame. I have a Prusa enclosure too that I might put this printer in, so I actually might have to move this power supply at some point outside of the case. So that would be a problem for later, huh? And then something goes here to make this rigid, because if the power supply is outside the case, you still need something stiffening up the frame here, especially with the input shaping they've done for the Mark IV. I would assume that that power supply not being here changes some things with how the whole printer resonates. Alright, I think we have the frame almost built. Let's go back to the browser. That looks good. Tighten the screws, everything tighten, make sure it's pressed against the frame. I should have read the instructions, but yeah, we did it right. Oh, look at that. X-Buddy box parts preparation. So for this next piece, we're going to need the X-Buddy box. Is located in the box with plastic parts. Okay, we're going to need thermal pad, 2 thermal pads of this 12 by 12 by 2.2 millimeter, M3x6 9 screws, and M3x10 2 screws. So let me go start looking for these. So we need Buddy. So we need this one. Thermal pads are, I guess, not back to the bag labeled frame. We have the thermal pads that we need all in here. So we need 40 by 12 and 12 by 12. And there's another one, 25 by 25. It's just not as large. So you want the square one and a rectangle one, but you want a small square one, big square one. Big square one, we don't need that right now. So it's 2 small squares is what we're looking for. Away. Alright, and now M3x6 screws. something we have to rip open, and it's gonna go everywhere. Not a huge snacking. And we need nine of these. And there are 22 in here with two spares. So we will need 11 more for something. Hopefully there's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get the right amount the first time, feels like magic. Feels like and then you need two M3x10s. Those are the ones that went ahead. This let's take two from the box. Okay. Let's go back to the browser. So what are we doing here? We're gonna mount the X-Buddy box, which is both. Wow, we're gonna mount the board. We're gonna mount some zip ties and an X holder. Interesting. So I gotta go find this X holder, and I gotta go find some zip ties. Found the X-Buddy board. I had not found the zip ties. Found the zip ties. And the X holder. Wire rod holder. That's not this. That's not this. Alright, I got the X holder here. Actually going to use the one that I printed out of ABS. And I think this will be our first opportunity to see if this actually works. So here's the ABS one. I think these parts in my opinion, I think the parts are nicer. When printed out of a color other than black. Printed these parts on a Voron, so slightly different kind of finish, but you could see this one's the Prusa Pet G, the black one, and it has like a shine to it. Once you actually assemble it, it's not as shiny. But this one nice and matte. So let's see what it looks like. The backside too. I don't know. I kind of like ABS. I wondered the Mark III that I have is black and orange, and it's nowhere near as shiny. I don't think you notice the shine after it's assembled. So it might not be that big of a deal, but what I'm really hoping to achieve is with the black parts versus a different color, any sort of like indentations or part detail is just much easier to see. Like on this one, it's much easier to see the versioning dots on the gray one than it is on the black one. And my goal is just for future repairability. If it's that much easier to look at the printer and see maybe what's going wrong, then I'll be happy. But also ABS, it will be in an enclosure. Hopefully the part should last a little bit longer. Let's see. Alright, do we have everything that we need? I think we have everything that we need. Let us move down. So mounting the X-Buddy box. Insert 4 M3x6 screws to the back of the frame, side with the shoulder extrusion so they resemble a rectangular pattern. And we're going top and bottom but not middle, leaving a gap of at least 3 millimeters between the screw head and the frame. Insert 2 M3x10 screws in those M3NE nuts at the bottom. turn them 3 to 4 times, and we just want them in place. So that's this bottom piece. So the 6 millimeters on the side in a rectangular pattern, and the 2 bottom ones. We got this. I'll do it. So here's the X-Buddy board. We'll move it off to the side here for now. We're going to be mounting these screws. Now, I'm going to move all these screws off to the side because they're definitely in the way. Can't turn the springer. Move the fasteners off to the side. Alright, and I think this is now in the way. Let me move this off to the side, or better yet, I think that was a good place for it. Let me just turn it off, like that. Alright. See what I mean with like the frame being black? I just feel like it's a little bit harder, even making a video. Like this is how you assemble it. Just harder to see all the different things. So, alright, there are quite a bit of screw holes here. So there's 2 right here, then there's 2 on this honeycomb, then there's 2 here on the frame and 2 on the honeycomb again, and then 2 even more indented in. So really quick, which ones do they want us to use? They want us to use the 2 indented on the honeycomb, and then the 2 that are closer to the frame. So going from those first screws that I mentioned, there's the first layer, not those. We're going to do the second one. We're not going to do the third one that's on the outside, and we're going to do the 4th layer. If that helps with mounting. So we're going to skip this top one. We're going to go right here. And this is a 6 millimeter screw, so mount it about halfway. 3 millimeter sticking out. It goes onto the honeycomb. So if you're watching along building this, I'm not going to count the honeycombs because I'm going to count them differently than you. Look at the photo. Make sure you install it the same way. We're going to skip this one. We're going to install it here on the bottom honeycomb. Only going in halfway, leaving 3 millimeters extruding. If you do a little bit less, you might have a tight fit in the next step. You can always, pull it back out. It's not going to be a little. These bottom ones, I don't know where they go, so I'm just going to line them in the middle. Same thing. I think I got 3 to 4 turns. 1, 2, 3. You just barely want those threads grabbing it because it's not out of the cover. So, okay. We got it. We got the 2 here. We got 2 here. 2 down here. Alright, let's go back here and let us continue on. So mounting the buddy box. The box is first going to mount onto the bottom screws, and then it's going to go off to the side, and it looks like the way that they've done these holes is it's supposed to kind of click in. Yeah, there's a keyhole. So I'm going to turn this more so it's visible. That is the bottom one. I'll line it down to these bottom screws so it's aligned. Kind of hard to see. And then with this one, look at that. Kind of just fell into place. And now we should probably tighten it. That's logically the next step. Fully tighten all 4 M3x6 screws to secure the buddy box. Be careful when tightening the rear top screw. Use the shorter side of the Allen key for final tightening. Okay, fully tighten both of the bottom screws. We'll do it in order. So, go back to. I need to find where they are. Stay there. M3 Allen key. The really nice thing about it is it's the one with the ball end. So it lets you screw these things in at an angle. So these kind of go in at a little bit of an angle, but the top back one, the angle is going to be way too high. So you want to lightly tighten it using that angle. And in order to get the full force on it, they want you to use the short side. So I tightened it, cleared it off, and then the final is just putting it in like this with the short side going into the screw. Come on. You can see the neither can I. So there's like a standoff in the board. It's making it a little bit hard to get in there. Alright, it's tight. I think out of all the screws, that was just one tough one. In the corner, hard to maneuver and stand off right there. That's gonna be a full belly button board. Okay. Gonna tighten two front ones. And then the two bottoms. Just press this higher assembly into that one right there. These actually seem to sit a little bit higher than the power supply. So if you're expecting the bottom screws to land in the same area as the power supply, they don't. So don't expect it to look exactly the same. They're actually, for me, closer to the bottom of the case. We'll look at a photo here in a sec of how it's supposed to be mounted. And maybe it's the same. Maybe it's not. Alright, let's go back here. Notice those. I don't think those are not attached. Maybe they are. Let me see if I got the side ones in correctly. Oh, I did not. Look at that. They need to fall in a little bit lower. So yeah, that photo is accurate. So if you're looking at this photo, what you want to make sure here is that these bottom screws actually need to go low. So if yours don't end up like pictured in the photo, you did it wrong. It's good we checked that photo because I thought that top screws actually fell in when they did not. They just went through the whole and kind of gently fell in. But you'll see that when I loosen all of these, this whole case is gonna actually come down maybe a millimeter. It's gonna click in. So why did you not click in? Generally, there we go. Fell in. I might have had one of these screws. You know how it said to leave the 3 millimeters. I might have left 2.5, and the screw didn't pop in all the way. But now it went down, and my bottom screw just like pictured. So much better. So retighten all of these. This one and the back one. Alright. Got it tightened. And then I'm gonna tighten. Let's see. Tighten the top one. Go on that one. And when building these, I think the fun part always is building the actual printer parts. The frame just takes a long time to build. Pretty simple. Nothing complicated. Alright, moving on. It looks exactly like this. So notice where these screws ended up. When I put mine together the first time, the screws ended up here at the bottom, maybe 1 millimeter below. Make sure that the side screws really click in all the way, and give it a good visual observation. There's a bigger hole and then a smaller hole where when you tighten it, those screws won't come out. It was pretty tight, and I bet you it wouldn't have been a problem for the future, but there's always that possibility if something gets loose in the future and then out of nowhere, you don't want this board falling off. Alright, applying the thermal pads. We're going to peel off the white protective layer from the thermal pads. Okay, so the pads have 2 sides, got it. And always touch the sides of the electronic board. It looks like we're putting these pads on the electronic board. And we're going to be attaching them like so. And then peel off the blue protective layer. So, okay. Let's go back to this. I'm going to leave this photo up here in the top so we can reference it. I'm going to move this actually onto the floor now so we can apply the thermal pads. So here's the X-Buddy board. Usually when working on stuff like this, you want to ground yourself. So my table has metal legs. I'm going to touch something metal. That'll make me grounded. I'm not currently generating static electricity. I don't have carpet, so that's always a good thing. But if, don't put this on the carpet. Generally speaking too, hold it by the sides. The sides are going to be safe. If you can, continue to use the electrostatic plastic bag. I have seen in the past where electronics, like one of those static electricity, and you'll fry something on here, and it'll probably be something small, but the thing's just going to be broken. What's really nice too is if you look at the photo up top, they have the board pictured. So I'm going to hold the board exactly the same way, and they've actually, I guess, printed or whatever this orange stuff is, like the ink, it shows you where the thermal pads go. So just, real nice attention to detail. The big thermal pad goes here, the smaller thermal pad, and the smaller one, and it matches up with the picture above. The board is being held in the same way. You'll notice the dog right here, and then the power screws at the bottom along with the heat bed cable. So now, the way that this goes is these have 2 sides. There's a white paper layer and a blue, like plasticky layer. We're going to start with the white layer. And you want to make sure you just remove the layer and not any part of the pad. And just apply them within the squares on the board, exactly where it's printed on. I think they've done a really nice job showing you, hey, like, put the pad right here. The pads fit within the squares. So if you by accident pulled out the 25 millimeter pad, right, it won't fit within the orange square. So go get the right pad. Put the second pad on right here. Put that right in the square. That human precision that AI can never do. Alright, and now this bottom piece right here is the long one. It goes up top. Okay, look at that. It fits perfectly. Now, before I do this, let's take a look at what is mounted under these pads. So, the pad here at the bottom has some sort of chip. This pad right here has a TMC 2130, and up here these 3 are also TMCs. So the top ones are X, Y, and Z, and it even says, so it is the motor drivers with the long thermal pad. The bottom one also has one. It's a motor. So I'm going to assume that is an extruder. Yeah, it's even really close to the extruder connector. So that makes a lot of sense. The bottom one though, this MOC3. Don't know what this last one is that we're taking heat off of, but it must be important to read. Alright, let's go back to the browser. I see there's also one viewer. Hello. Welcome. This is my first YouTube live ever. Feel free to leave a comment. Alright, we got the thermal pads. Mounting the X-Buddy board, we're going to turn the printer over. They want us to remove the blue protective layer from the thermal pads. I think I can do that now because the X-Buddy board, under these pads, it is kind of sticky. So the board should actually kind of stick into the where it's going. So they want us to flip the printer over, and then they want us to put this in, stick it onto the holes, and don't mess up the tape. This will also take the 5 screws, which I have right in front of me. There's still 5. We haven't lost a single screw. And put aside your instinct and leave the hole at the bottom right empty. So we're going to be doing the 4 screw holes at the top, along with the one next to the, looks like a Ethernet connector. Yeah, next to the Ethernet connector, but not the other one. I'm sure that one, actually, I think that is the PE connection. Which is, I think, a new grounding. Yeah, it even says PE on the front. There's a cable that goes into that will attach later, and that's why they don't want us to do it right now. So, let's see. Zip ties will be next, but it looks like we could do that once the board is in. So let's go back. Grab the printer frame. No, bring it right back here. I'm going to remove the blue sticky on this. I will say the blue actually came out really nice. It looks kind of curled in. Stop. And when it's curled in, you get that thought of oh no, this is not gonna come off easy. It comes off really nice. So props to Prusa for getting a nice material. Don't really have to fuss with it. Don't really want to be fussing with board. I want to break this thing. Make sure it's nice. All right, this one might be hard to do on camera. So turn it this way. I'm gonna align the. Actually, if you need to put it inside, get the Ethernet board first. And align it on the top screws. As long as you got top screws, it's going to grab it in. I feel the sticky stuff. Notice the boards in there. No hands. The sticky's already grabbed the board. So let's put the screws in. Top screw up top right here. Working my way also to the top, then left screw. Alright. Now moving back to the right. Right under the connector that's labeled LCD. It's this long orange connector. Also, the connectors on this board, if you've assembled a Mark III, it had a lot of standard Molex connectors on it. I actually had to replace the thermistor the other day, moving on to that screw on the side. And Molex connectors and all the other types of JST connectors been around forever. They're nice, but the quality on them is what you expect on electronics. Same connectors that have been around forever. These connectors I've never seen before. They've really done themselves really nice high quality. I don't even know that you can. I haven't looked at the cables yet. How you make these connectors? Everything's really nice. You see that they're high quality. It's going to grab it. They're really good contact. Taking it out. Definitely going to try one. But it looks like it's going to be much easier to remove in the future too. So. Thermal pads. Goodbye, live viewer. It's nice having you. Alright, let's go back to the browser. Let's continue to build this thing. So we got these screws in. I did not put a screw in that bottom one because I listened to the instructions. Let's attach some zip ties. So there are 4 perforations on the side of the metal, and the zip tie goes in. Oh, look at that. That's what the this little clip is for. So you're supposed to use the return on it to put the zip ties in. And it looks like we're going in with that piece. Well, that's the only piece that'll fit in, so there's not really a different way to do this. So this one might be kind of hard to see, but this connector right here, very cool. It has a little groove to help you put zip ties in. How awesome is that? I remember zip ties was always kind of a not fun part of anything. Because no matter how anything's angled, you know, being able to push that zip tie in some way. Also really cool. I saw a video on like how to open these. I already opened mine in credit right here. I didn't cut it all the way. The trick is you actually cut it in the middle right here, kind of like a box of Kleenex. You make a hole, and because the zip ties are long, they will not be coming out of this hole at all. Right? Like zip ties are too long. It won't work. However, taking one out, you can take them out like Kleenex. Putting them back in is a little bit harder, right? I can use this perforation here, but you know, how many times I zip tie out where you actually put it back. So cool little trick. Cut the inside. And they're not going anywhere. So I'm gonna take out all 4. I need 4 installation. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got my 4. Now I'm going to each of these using this little zip tie holder thingy to help me. There is no way for me to actually show how this works. So I am just going to tell you whether it's good or not. And no lie, it's actually frustrating. I know. It helps, but yes, I can more. It's still better. You know, when you touch a board or something. All right, got the first zip tie in. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Moving on to the next zip tie. I'm gonna go in order. Oh, and this one actually has a hole in the back for the second from the bottom one, so you need to use this little tool to help you pull the zip tie out. I bet you there is some sort of trick to doing this. In the next version, they're going to teach everyone how to use this zip tie tool. Oh, it's actually not bad. So just make sure that the zip tie tool's in there. Use it to pull the zip tie up, and make sure you're pressing the zip tie in straight. And it works. Yeah, it works alright. Give it a 7 out of 10. It's innovative. Maybe we could do better. Alright, third from the bottom zip tie. Get it onto the tool. And this one also just has a lot more space to work with. So, although it's going to be smacking on all these connectors, so use it to pull it your way. Alright, got that one. And last and final one up top. And there we go. We got all 4 zip ties in. I'm going to push this one a little bit further because I bet you it's going to be zipped in much further anyways. And they're in here. Kind of obnoxiously. Toss this off to the side. There are the zip ties. Alright. Let us move on to the next step. So we got the zip ties in. Do not discard the X holder. I find instructions like this so funny. I guess with the X holder we are going to use it again, but it's, you know, it's a tool for assembly. I don't know of anyone that's just like, oh, I used a screwdriver, let's throw it out right now, I'm not going to use it again. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be installing the Y-belt idler, and this answers my question of why was there an idler gear in the frame bag. So I'm going to grab this Y-belt idler plastic piece. We need M3x10 screws, and we're also going to need M3 NS nuts. So let's grab everything. While I'm at it, here's the frame bag. I'm going to put it off to the side here because we're about to use it. And I have my bag of frame pieces. Now for those of you who are joining, I reprinted all my parts in ABS. So here's another piece where the original Prusa part is right here in black, and then here's my part in ABS. And this is actually the true test. They look similar. I printed mine at 100.5% to account for some ABS shrinkage that's supposed to exist. But I guess the question is how much does it matter? And we're about to answer that question right now. So here's the pieces that we need. I'm going to toss off some of that back in the bag. So here's the part. Maybe make it a little bit more room here. So there's the piece that we need. Now we also need an M3. Let's see, an M3x10 screws, 2 of them, and 2 of the M3 square nuts. So that's an M3x6 and M3x10. Here. M3x10. And I got square nuts right here. There's 2 spares and they're going to be 9 pieces. So, these are always awesome and fun to build. I really like them. Alright, let's go back to the browser. Here's what we got. Now, preparing the Y-belt idler. We're going to insert 2 of the nuts into the Y-belt idler. There's a groove in the hole to push through with an Allen key, so that's kind of cool. And we need 2 nuts to go in there. So in this piece, both sides are perforated for the nut to fit in, and we want to align with that down screw. Now is the moment of truth, and it just fell right in. Oh, look at that. Perfect fit. I am so happy. I was worried. I was like, what if they don't fit? What am I going to do? Print them again? What size? Alright, got both of them in there. You can kind of see them. Alright, let's switch back to the browser and let's move on. So we got this piece in, we put both of them in. We're now going to mount the Y-belt idler. So this goes into the front of the frame, and it does have an orientation. So attach the Y-belt idler from the inside to the front plate. Note the correct part orientation on the part. Secure the Y-belt idler with 2 M3x10. So those screws that we got, we're going to screw them into the front. So now, turn the printer this way. It might actually be better to see it this way. This part has an orientation. Let me bring up that browser. Notice there's a divot here. This is where the idler is going to go. So they want it installed this way, where it's just flat up top with no cuts. Let me pull this up. Notice how it's installed like that from the top. So that is the orientation. That is the wrong orientation. So like this, upwards with 2 screws. There's 2 holes here in front. This is where the Y idler goes. The idler is where it just has a gear,
So in the back, we install the Y motor that moves the bed forward and backwards. So this just has another gear that allows the bed to connect to. So it flings the bed back and forth. The Prusa printers are widely known as bed flingers. And the reason for that is that bed moves back and forth when in operation. AKA flingers. Alright, let's go here. Like far I pushed in. I did not push it in all the way. Turn this way. Push that in just a little bit further. Make sure the screw aligns. Down pressure for it to actually grab There we go. Just slightly point it. The parts I'm using today printed in ESS are there. R2/R3 parts where there was an R3 part printed it. I think my LCD I had to print the R2 because I have an LCD system 18 or 2019. So it doesn't fit the R3 LCD model. But all of them are new R3 parts published on July 4th, so just days ago. And I printed them in Galaxy, PBS, gray, teal. So we'll see what that looks like. Maybe it'll look cool, maybe it won't. Guess we'll find out. Back to the browser. We've mounted the Y idler. We're now going to assemble the Y motor. So here is the part that we need. I'm gonna go grab that part. I have it actually right here behind me. And then I need the larger thermal pad, which is going to be in this frame bag right here. We're also going to need these screws. So let me get that out. Here is another part printed in PBS. What it looks like. Camera's focus thing. It came out pretty nice. Really quality. Plus everything has a little bit more. It feels more definition. We need this thermal pad right here, which comes in the back frame. Notice there's a idler in here, which we probably will use really soon. And then these screws. Let's go back to browser. So we are going to need M3x18 screws. We're going to need M3x10 screws, and we're going to need 2 square nuts. So I already have the M3x10s here. I've already opened them previously, so I'm going to grab those first. And same with the square nuts. I've already opened them previously. And they come in one of these non-zippy bags. I love zippy bags. I don't like these. You open them bags and then everything's falling everywhere. And M3x18 screws, we need 3 of them. They do come in a zippy bag. So, they're special. Don't know why. I wonder what the criteria is for, we're going to put it in a zippy bag, we're not going to put it in this like little Ziploc bag. Like I know part of it has to be cost. Like these little bags with this little zipper have to cost more. I wonder if you're assembling it too, like putting them in the bag, probably is much harder for you to assemble this. Or maybe these are assembled by hand and the other ones are assembled by machine because just all sides are kind of temperature sealed. So all right. I have all the parts required here. So now the next part is assembling the Y motor, and look at that. We are going to need the Y motor, and we're going to need that pulley. So let me grab those out of the box. The pulley is right here in this bag label frame. And good news, We now have another bag that we can use that has a zipper. How exciting, right? These are the types of things I find exciting. So let's see, what do I want to throw in this bag? I think I'm going to throw the M3x6s in this bag, because there's quite a few of them. And with that little piece, I don't want to lose those. The motor kit comes in this nice motor kit box right here. Inside, it looks like this. Gotta make sure you throw away the desiccant packet. We're looking for the Y motor. So one easy way to identify these is these long ones here with the screw. Those are going to be Z motors. This small pancake one here, you can actually look at the end. It says E on it. All of them are labeled. That's actually one of the really nice things Prusa does is they put these little yellows. But the pancake one is going to be E. Pancake meaning it's kind of small. One of these is going to be X and Y. I'm just going to look at the label at the end to pull out the Y motor. It's actually this middle one right here that is the Y motor. So pull that out, put this off to the side, and I'll show you. Like right here, you could see that it says Y. Maybe let me hold it correctly, but it's labeled. So what's really cool is later, if you're doing any maintenance on the printer, let's say for example, I'm doing something with these motors, or great example, I had to replace the bed thermistor on my Mark III, and I accidentally unplugged this, and now my X and Y are unplugged. They were one right next to another. I don't want to swap them. I could just look at this little yellow thing. And actually, I think the way that this will assemble is you're going to pull all the cables into that box, right? You're not going to want to go back looking through, tracing the cable, like which motor was this. You want the cable labeled, right? Always label your cables. Great job. This is awesome. All right, let's do the next piece. These are my spares. I'm going to move them off to the side, make a little bit more room here, so I can move the printer. I'm going to want it facing this way, most likely. And it should probably be facing like this somehow. For visibility, that might be hard to see this one. Alright, let's go back to that browser. What do they want us to do now? They want us to do full screen browser. So we are going to assemble the Y motor. We got the Y motor. I went ahead and I pulled this pulley out here while you weren't looking. Oh, and the other thing too is making sure you pull the right motor, right? So you can't swap the X and Y. They have the cable length already done. If you buy these motors not for a 3D printer, they most likely won't actually have the right lengths. But what Prusa does is they order them with very specific lengths and cable connectors so that you have really good cable management. There's not a lot of extra cable left dangling anywhere inside of that box. So next is this Y motor holder. We're going to insert the 2 square nuts into the square nut cutouts, and then we're going to install it on the motor as so. So let's see. I move this over here. Here is my motor. I'm trying to do this as visible as possible. I'm going to insert the 2 square nuts first. So here is this. 1 square nut goes on the top. It kind of doesn't want to go in. And I'm going to use this piece to push it in there. Have I finding that match? So I want this fit. There we go. Just needs to be pushed in. Oh, this really doesn't want to go in. This one does not fit in there. I am going to make it fit, sure. But these feel a little tight, actually. I'm going to make this perfect right now. I'm going to grab a piece of... Where's the small one? I don't think there's a small one. There's a really small X right here. So it's the tiniest one. It comes in a Prusa bag that I'm going to use to clean up the inside. Because I see that there's just some plastic bits in there, and I think those are going to be or this is just too small. Also sometimes using the larger area hex wrench. This is really push this in downward. Oh, there we go. This one popped in. Just needed a larger size to get through the initial. This one on the other hand is already in. So the trick is I'm pretty sure. I should move this up a little bit. Push it in. Well, we're halfway there. Try to apply pressure. Just the top. We are almost there. We need one more meter. Half a meter. Nope, the cell. Bring the future. I'll print them a little bigger. Or clean the insides. We're almost there. No, a little bit more. Come on. I don't think that's getting enough. Alright, try getting this done the hard way. Basically went in almost all the way, but not all the way. If I can't get this in all the way, I might have to reprint it. Try pushing it in through the edges. Alright, there we go. After much wrestling apart, I got it in. Note to self, clean up the insides. Because I think that there's actually just a little piece of filament in there. That I really had to compress. Yeah, you can see inside there's just filament in there, built up. So. All right. So where were we? We are installing it on the motor. We inserted square nuts. We're going to place them like in the picture, and we're going to use the M3x18, the long screws, to attach. So here's the motor. Here is the little tail of it facing me right here, and we want this piece, this square nut. Facing this way. And there's actually on the back side. What is here that's kind of holding it? It kind of falls into place around the motor. let's make sure this looks right. And then install it like this. So there's the bottom. Is that correct? If I look at it this. No, that is not correct. Is it? Do I have it upside down? I feel like I have this upside down. So here is the tail count. And then I want this piece. I think this piece is different actually. But the indentation, I guess the indentation both ways. This is how it looks correct on this piece. And I'm going to pull this up larger. Fascinating. So really quick, let's look at this piece from Prusa. And I think this is a great opportunity to compare what's in the box versus, what do you actually have. So the piece that I have is piece R2. I'm gonna grab the bag really quick. So I think this is a changed piece. In the bag, I have part E6. Wow, so this is like the 6th revision of their internal part. So this piece, if you compare the two side by side, so this is what I printed myself, and this is what was shipped to me. And the one thing that you'll notice is that square nut was moved to the other side. So notice square nut on the piece that I printed, no square nut here. So they switched where that square nut is. And I think I know why. If we look at the browser, notice the square nut is facing outward on that motor. So the motor and the pulley is going to be here. Is that square nut ever going to fall out? Definitely not with my part, but it's a possibility. So I bet you they put the square nut on the other side because it's going to push against the motor body and it's never going to fall out. Although when assembling something like this, if you base just off of where that square nut is, you're going to have a bad time. So for my part, I actually want that square nut going backwards. And now this picture looks correct. So I have the string here, I have the longer foot here, and I have the shorter foot up here. And there is a small indentation up top, just like in the photo that we see. And also, notice that the screw holes actually have the room for the nut, so we know we're on the right side. All right, let's get this attached. Let's move on. That was a good catch. I'm glad I caught this. This would be one of those things where you'd go to assemble it and you go, wait, why is this not assembling? Something's wrong. And you go back, and if it's just based on that square nut, you're gonna have a bad time. I wonder if I could leave them a comment on this. I think. Oh, there is one comment on this. No comments here. Add a comment. Sign in. I don't feel like signing in. Alright. Line over, screw this down, and do this super speed. These don't have any sort of orientation. You need to screw them in, just in order, diagonal. If you do need to do any sort of like pressure on this, I would actually screw this one in from this middle screw first, this one. Just because then you're kind of applying even outward pressure on this part. What I would not do is I wouldn't screw these two screws first and then this one, because it'll hug the motor in a weird way. But either left to right, right to left, or middle out works. So let's do, we got that, and the bottom one, and this top one. Alright, we are assembled, and it just looks just like the picture. Oh my god, that's so cool. What do I do now? Alright, let's go back to the browser.
Assembling the Y motor holder. There is a flat part on the motor shaft. Rotate the shaft so the flat part is facing you through the opening in the Y motor holder. Attach the pulley on the shaft and ensure that one of the grub screws is facing the flat part. Do not tighten the grub screw yet. Notice that the pulley has an orientation. So it is going to be pulley downward, and it looks like it's actually going all the way onto, oh, look at that. That's how we're going to attach it. So we're going to use one of the Allen keys to pull it up. That is an interesting alignment method. I haven't seen this one before. So here's this piece right here. We are going to be going pulley downward as such. And I need to rotate so the flat piece is facing me. Get one of the grub screws aligned to the grub screw with this little screw right here. I'm going to slightly tighten it just because it's much easier when it's at least aligned on the you only have to give it like a slight pull rather than a pull. And then push it down like so. I'm going to tighten it. And have it flat and tighten first so it just doesn't make sure. And we can confirm that it's flat. Cool. So once we have the first one, this one's tightened on the flat piece, you tighten it, then you rotate it, and you find the second grub screw. So this one is not on a flat piece. Really closely to see if I can align this. Come on, focus right here. Come on, you got this. Oh, you can't really see the flat piece. Really hard for it to pick up. Oh, you can kind of see it there. Notice it's flat and the grub screw's on flat. I'm going to now tighten the second one. The second one just tightens onto the non-flat surface, but it helps keep it in place. These screws don't really need much tightening. Grub screws hold pretty well. If you want them to never fall out, you use some Loctite on them. You just need to be careful because Loctite will dissolve plastic. So if you get any of it, specifically the part that I'm using, ABS, if there's Loctite on this, it starts dissolving hard, it will cause structural failure. But checking flatness again, we are flat, just like in the picture. Now let me go back. Let's read a little bit more. So attach the pulley, do not tighten put one of the Allen keys on top and align it. When the pulley is aligned, tighten the grub screw and the pulley against the flat part. Then rotate the pulley and tighten the second one. Look at that, exactly what we said. Alright, attach the Y motor holder. Peel off the white protective film from the thermal pad on the Y motor. And we're going to be adding a thermal pad right there where it has the numbers, it looks like. Look at that. And that is going to, it looks like it's going to face the frame, the padding. So the padding goes on the number. Those two screws are going to face the frame. Interesting. I always find it interesting. So we're going to put a thermal pad right here. Let me switch the photo on the browser. Right here on the motor. And this motor is under the motor is going to be under the bed. I wonder if in the past they had issues with motors getting hot. And they were like, we need to put thermal pads on the Y motor because they get hot. Not surprising. And I don't think you need all the other ones. They're just in a different spot on the printer. So they don't get as hot as the thing literally under the heat bed. It's just giving off heat. Although the Y doesn't do that much. It goes forward, backwards. I guess it is when the bed the whole time, so it is activated. There is current going through it. So there we go. We got the pad on exactly like in the photo. And now we're going to move on to the next part, which is mounting it to the frame. Now you'll notice that the small piece goes into the top of the frame, the longer piece goes at the bottom, there's two screws in the back, and we want the motor on the side of the bodyboard. here, let me make it big really quick. That's what we're going for. Or that's what we're gonna mount this bad boy up. And move on. Right. So here's the frame. It's kind of hard to see. We are going to be mounting it back here, like so. Notice the motor on the side of the buddy board. And I'm going to release this pad right now. And go ahead and attempt. We're using the three type screws that we had earlier. I have them right over here. Don't misalign it now. So here's a cool trick. With this thermal pad removed, if I just stick it on right now, it's gonna attach somewhere on this frame and probably be misaligned. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna take the little screws. I'm gonna put them through the holes. Back here. And I'm gonna push them forward. They do protrude on the inside, and now they're inside of the frame. Notice still not attached. This is sticky. So if I attach it wrong, it's a thermal pad. You shouldn't really mess with it too much. But take both of the screws, put them in. Right. And now visually back here, align the screws with the motor holder. And once you've aligned it, push it in. Right. That way you know both screws have currently grabbed the motor holder exactly where they need to be. I got the thermal pad exactly where it should be. The thermal pad is now contact. The screws in line. The alignment is perfect. And I didn't screw up the thermal pad, which is going to be important. You want to keep the line motor cool. It doesn't really like heat. 3D printers are creatures. They perfectly hold over sort of heat in them. These just want to tighten. Y motor vibrating. And now you go back to the instructions. Done everything correctly. Probably did something wrong. So let's look back at the instructions here. That all looks correct, and we got it mounted on here correctly. It wants us now to keep the Y motor cable safe during the assembly, temporarily hide it in the extrusion box of the X-Buddy side. So it looks like for this piece, you see that cable coming out. It just wants to go into the side of that buddy box. So I have my cable right here. It is currently coming downward. And also if on the side on this motor, the text is up and it says Y-axis. So just grab that cable. I'm gonna actually pull it through on this side and put it up here in this buddy board. I'll be careful with it. I like to keep the cables here. It's under a little bit of tension at the bottom, so it's not just kind of flopping around going everywhere. Alright, there we go. And let's move on. Alright. I'm gonna go back to browser mode. Oh, now it's time to eat some gummy bears. Alright, look at that. So we got the frame assembled. This is part 2 of the manual. The manual itself is 8 parts. I am going to probably try and get through one more part today. So the X-axis and Y carriage assembly. So we'll call it done there. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back in a few minutes. continue on with this. According to YouTube, there is 1 viewer, so thank you. Whoever's watching, I hope this is helpful. I don't know if you have purchased a Mark IV kit, or if you've already assembled one, but I appreciate the view. If there's anything that I could do better, I'd love the feedback. Love to hear how the audio is. First time doing YouTube Live, so feel free to post it if you'd like. Alright, how many gummy bears do they want us to eat? So, this is 5 gummy bears? I've literally spent 2 hours on this. This has to be more than 5 gummy bears. Okay, cool. Did you know gummy bears were first created by a German candy maker named Hans Riegel in the 1920s? Interesting. Alright, let's move on to the X-axis and X-carriage assembly. Looks like we are going to build that part right there. That part might not even be mounted on the printer, so that would be kind of cool. The difficulty on this is easy. I'm really happy it doesn't say that this should be built in like 15 minutes, because it'll probably take me a lot longer. I'm not going for speed on this. I'm not trying to build it fast. My goal is really to kind of build it slow, find all the pieces. I'd like to, in the future, also just know how this was built. So if I ever have to service this printer, take anything apart, when I build it slowly, when I inspect all the parts, I feel more confident of being able to fix it. So, alright, X-axis assembly parts preparation. We are going to need the X-end idler, the X-end motor, 1 M3 by 25 screw, 4 M3 by 16 screws, 7 M3 square nuts, and 6 M3 normal nuts. I wonder if the N signifies nut, which then, if it's M3 nut, like what's the point? Why nuts twice? You don't need to do that. But all right. So let me assemble what we need. I am going to move the printer onto the floor. So that we can assemble these. It sounds like we might print for it. So here is our X-axis and motor. I believe this is our X-axis and idler. Confirm that here. Extra parts that are reprinted, so that we have all the quality. So X and motor, idler. Here are the ones. So I had them in orange. Originally when I bought the printer kit, mine back in April. I thought I was going to use their parts. I saw someone post it. They're like, print it all in ABS. So why not? Let's try something different. Here's the part comparison. How they look. This one is Prusa orange. There's a little bit of a shine to it. Really nice print. This one is Polymaker teal Galaxy. So if you look on the part, it has glitter in it. You can kind of see it. And that's just the textured bed. But parts themselves gonna do a just visual. Make sure they look the same. I bet you will run into something where they modify the part. Like I said, parts that I printed are the newest revision. They're the R2 revision. In this case, these might be these are R2s. So they're slightly newer. Although I don't know, it's different. They look the same. The revisions on E3. So that might actually be R2 and E3 might be similar or equivalent. I'm gonna go parts back. Not tossing the ETG parts. Might do something with them, skipping away, or to the future.
side. So we got these two parts that we need. And now let's grab the screw. We are gonna need M3 by 16s, M3 by 25s. These are M3 by 30s. These are M3 by 20 by 25s. 5 pieces in here and one spare. So we're gonna use one right now. Don't know where the other ones will go. I'm sure we'll find out. So we got the first screw, M3 by 16s, which I did not put baggies, but we're M3 by 16s, yes, special one. So there's five M3 by 16 screws, one spare. So when I take the four out, we've now reclaimed another bag. Sweet. The only sappy baggies are labeled, so I can't use it for a different screw into the spare goes. I need to make sure. But these are different height. So when assembling, building your own, mind the height. All right. Square nuts. These are not the square nuts. These are M3 by 6. These are the square nuts. We need seven of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure it's 7 open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7. Need 6 of the standard screws. Clean up the workspace. Cleaner. For what you see. That's okay. Here. And then these are the three nuts. A open baggie. We need 6 of these. 4. Hold on, 2 more. Alright. We got the 6. I think that is hardware that we need. Let's look back on the browser. Yep, that is all. Alright, assembling the XN motor. If you ever see this logo in any of the Prusa guides, it's the use the screw pulling technique, which I find that you almost always use it in most pieces. So in this piece, we're going to insert the 4 hexagonal nuts inside of this part, along with this purple one, which is the M3 by 25 screw into a square nut. So let's keep it simple. Let's step by step. Do the first one. This one is just going to have the standard hexagonal nuts. Fit on these. These actually pretty nice. Just kind of putting them in from the top. They pop right in. Gives me more confidence in the printed ABS parts. They're just like Prusa's in terms of tolerance. So cool. Those actually fit in pretty nice. They're not falling out. They're definitely not flush, but we'll deal with that when we get there later. So we got those in, like so. And next we're going to put in the square nut right here into this middle part. Will fit. I learned my lesson. Gotta clean this part up just a little bit. Something in there. Make sure the hole's clear. Yep. Alright, we're good. Now the square nut. Doesn't want to go in. Come on. You must. Interesting that the other ones went in no problem. This one is too tight. You would assume that if the other ones weren't too tight, this would go into. No. pushing it out here from the top. And also, once I have it, the M25 screw is going to come in from this flat side without the protrusion. So let me get this piece right here. Alright. I think with this one it was just the alignment that it was unhappy with. It wasn't that it was too tight. Yeah. There we go. We're good. There's no kind of like a cut on the nut to make sure it goes in there. So let's put this one in there. I'm going to pull up the browser really quick just to see. Do not tighten the screw completely. Keep the screw head aligned with the top surface of the part. So we are screwing it in just past the surface. I think that's about halfway on the entire screw. Okay, and we're right about flush. That's where we are with the screw. Right about flush. Those went in, no problem. Pretty happy with those. Alright, let's move on to the next step. The next step here is this screw. What is this? This is in green? No, that's blue. From the bottom side of the part, insert and tighten the M3x16 screw. Okay, and then insert and tighten one M3x16 too from the top side of the part. Wait. If this is the bottom side of the part, and this is, oh, okay, no, that is the top and the bottom. I think this the way the photo is a little confusing. Alright, so there's a screw that goes into this. So if we're looking at it like this, I think I had it oriented the same way. There's a screw that goes in here, and then the second screw does go in the bottom, and it goes in here. Let's make sure. Yes, right there. Alright, whatever you say. These screws don't look like they thread into anything. They just kind of thread into nowhere. And actually, they're going to thread into plastic. So right now, it's already not wanting to go in. The plastic is just a little bit smaller than the screw. So by tightening this in, I am now creating a thread in the plastic. So they're not going into the nuts. What this is going to be, it looks like it is a, I think, depth. So if you look inside of this part right here, where this bottom screw goes in, it's going to go into this hole, and you can't really see in there, it's dark, but it's probably how deep that rod should go for the actual installation of the motor. Because the part's going to go like I guess like so, onto the X motor right here, and then you're going to have rods coming out here. You want to make sure that you can stop the depth of the rods at a certain point. And it looks like they want us to screw it in. If you're not sure, M3x16. It looks like they're just screwed in all the way. Yeah, because it's just a depth stop for the rods. This section also wants a Sharpie. If needed, I will grab one. But we'll be able to do it without. I say this now and then later. It's going to be like, oh, I actually need a Sharpie. That's how it always is. You know you're an engineer, you don't read manuals. You can follow the manuals. Because I think the Sharpie is just to mark the rods, where the rods go. So now looking into this, I don't think there's no way I can show this, but the screw that went in here basically went through this hole and did something here. And it's an M3x16 screw, so let me give you a visual indicator of how deep
deep that one is. About that deep. So it's screwed into the plastic. Yeah, it's just gonna stop where the rod goes. The second one. It's not even like a rod tension screw. It's not applying any tension. The rod is just going to butt up right against it. I can't see into the part, but I wonder if in there there's like a receiving end. Let's see if I get the light right. I see in there. I wonder if there's like a receiving end where make sure the screw goes straight and hits like another hole. I would assume so. That just to make sure that it's straight and providing the right not tension that they're looking for, just make sure the screw's straight, get the rods in straight. The rods at this end are pre-cut. They're two sides, two dimension. So I would assume if you got this off by 1 or 2 millimeters, you then get the printer going. Oh no, your x-axis is too short. Or you have the top axis being too short, bottom not, so it's kind of would travel at an angle, and you don't want that. You want everything square and straight. Especially for printing, you want to print beautiful parts like these. All right. I believe we have assembled this part. Let's go back and look. We got this one. We got both of the nuts in. I currently still have 2 more of the M3x16s, and I think it's now still the XN motor. They want 2 square nuts into the oval opening here, and they don't want too much pressure. Okay, well, let's make sure I don't blow these things up. Alright. The one thing that I learned is just make sure these are clean. These holes came out clean. So I feel pretty confident this going in. Although how am I going to put this one in? I don't know. I'm currently trying to put this screw in right here. I think for this would be better. I'm actually gonna move the camera here. It's going to be much easier to show this assembly from up close. Let's do this close to be able to see what I see better. We're not building an entire printer anymore. Now on the micro scale. Oh no, micro scale. So here's what we're working here. I did get that in. It just doesn't go in. So we're going to use this bigger space right here to force it in, just like so. I think I already ripped through. Notice. Right there. Hopefully that's not a problem. I did this before when I was building the MMU. I ended up over-tightening something. Didn't read an instruction. And this didn't break it. Otherwise, so tight squares. Yeah, this one doesn't like going in, huh? But this piece has bulged out. That doesn't look great. I'm supposed to be using scraps for the other thing. Why did I do that? Is it because it's not aligned correctly? Okay, it's in there. I was able to push that back in. Once the rod is in here, it'll apply pressure. It'll be fine. All right, and the second piece right here. We're gonna apply the best type of pressure there is table pressure. So just going downward and up. I think this is the one I want to be careful with. Look at that. That one fit perfectly. And it's opened. That was nice. Alright, let's bring the browser back up. Let's go full browser actually. And let's continue down in the assembly. Now it's the X end idler that we'll be assembling. That's this piece. And we're going to do the 2 nuts on this side and 2 square nuts on the other side. And it looks like with these they're going to want us to push them in. So I don't know if this actually helps. Let's try it. So here's this piece right here. You'll notice that there's actually, when it prints, there's a little support that prints right there. I'm going to try and get rid of that. So I'm going to use one of these. It might actually be too big. It is too big. I don't think there's a smaller one. Yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm going to go get an exact length really quick and cut that out. And back to assembly. We're going to start with the 2 nuts that go on this side. Notice our part is R2, their part is E2. So pretty close, huh? Wow, that just kind of went in. Feels like it's barely holding on, but it's not falling out. It's fascinating. These parts go in no problem. You usually have to do the screw pulling technique where they won't go in, so you put a screw through the other side and you tighten it to pull it through. But these parts go great. It's the square nut holes that don't want to party. So for the square nut, we're doing it on this side right here and 2 square nuts going right there. So here are my square nuts. And these go in no problem. So it's something about that other holder. That one actually just flew in on its own. It wanted to be there. Something about that other holder. It just didn't like the orientation of those. Sorry. Alright, we got those 2 square nuts in. So to recap, 2 square nuts right here. 2 non-square nuts right there. Let's move on. Next part. Assembling the X idler. Make sure you're using the correct length of screw, M3x16, not M3x18. Just make sure that this is the right screw, since they seem very worried. These are M3x16s. That's an M3x16. Screw confirmed. Alright, so we're going to be putting a screw at the top from the bottom side of the part, insert and tighten. Insert and tighten the second M16. Okay, so both the bottom and the top have 2 screws, and I actually have 2 screws left to go do here. So I don't know if this was helpful, but let's try doing the same thing. So here is the top or bottom part, whatever you want to call it. You're going to be tightening a screw in there, and you'll notice that these screws actually go into the same place as these rods. So the rods, this is on the idler side of the x-axis. If I put a screw in here, it'll go in here, kind of like that. And this will then prevent the rod from going too far. So it'll set the depth, or I guess the width of the x-axis. And these tighten into plastic. So in order to get the first thread, I wonder if in the PETG parts that come with the printer. If Prusa doesn't post-process where they either put a screw in or they have some sort of machine that just lightly threads the plastic. I think the thing I'd be worried about there if I was making that myself would be kind of over-threading that plastic. Or just completely destroying it. The downside of this, these are M3x16 screws. They have quite a bit of thread. So you just keep screwing and screwing and screwing. You could opt for a power tool. I recommend against it, not only because, yes, the speed is nice, but speed makes heat, and plastic parts don't like that type of heat, especially the directed heat. So you could end up damaging parts. Probably not visible, but in there is a screw that has set that depth. I still can't see if there's a little thing in there to receive it. I'm sure if you looked at the 3D parts online and did some sort of sectional analysis, then you could probably see if it's in there. Or watch the part while it's actually throw it in a Prusa slicer and look at the layer and see if it's putting a little dimple in there for this screw to go in. I would assume so, because you want these screws to definitely go in straight. But at the same time, they are going straight. But having a receiving end for it to fall into and be depth set and be straight without having it to drill its own plastic would definitely be helpful. Alright. We're almost there. We're like 6 turns away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just kidding, 2 more. Alright. And we've installed that piece. Let me check really quick here. No comments. I hope the audio's okay for anyone watching. Alright, X and idler. I have 2 more square nuts left. I've gone to browser, I sure have. Alright, we need to put a square screw in at the top. So that's right here. And then we are also going to need to put a square screw in there. This is where I screwed up the square screws in the other one. So let's try this again. It's a square right here. Sorry, a square nut right there, and a square nut right here. This part though, the other square nuts just kind of slid right in. Let's try this one. This square nut. Alright, the pressure on it wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't great. Let's try this one now. I think this one's going to be a little bit harder. And I think what I did wrong on the last one was the direction that I pushed it in. So let me try it right here with a little more visibility. Goes in right here on the side. Oh, look, this one has a lot more space. Like that. So. And then I'm gonna use this big one right here to see, but I think what was wrong was there we go. See, notice that angle on it. You want that angle. Because then it just pops right in where it needs to when the angle is right. And it doesn't rip out in plastic. Look at that. Who would have thought if you put things in correctly? They work supposed to. Like what world do we live in? Alright. I am out of screws for this step, so I would assume that this is it. Mounting the bearings and preparation. Okay, let's grab these parts. We're going to need the LL10OUU bearings. Those can be found in the X axis and X cartridge bag. I'm actually just going to pull that whole bag out because we're probably going to need it. It's going to have the rubber pads, and we're going to need to go get these screws. Let me pull these screws out really quick, and we'll go back and kind of look at all these parts. Screws are just a little hard to read in the other orientation. So we need 6 M3x30 screws. There's 11 in this bag, so we're about to use 6 of them. 4, 5, 6. So that's that. And 2 M3x18 screws. The M3x18 come in a little zippy baggie, so that's fun. And we need 2 of these. Awesome. And then back to this first piece. I'm going to grab the 3D printed parts really quick. And we need 2 of these 3D printed. Let me make sure I grabbed the right ones. I ended up reprinting some of these. I just wasn't happy with the finish on them. Let me make sure I grabbed the right ones. Not that these won't matter. The part that I was unhappy with won't be visible anyways. Alright. Let's go back. So I got this right here. The x-axis and carriage. Sorry for the close, but actually gonna way see assembly. I think we'll go back to further away in a second. Here are the 3D printed parts. Right here. How they look, how they came out. Very nice. We are gonna need the LL bearings. Obnoxiously large bearings. These two right here. And we are gonna need rubber pads 20 by 1 millimeter. And how many do we need? We need 4 of them. And guess what? This baggie has 4 of them. There's more than 4. There's 6 in here. It doesn't say how many are spares. So, all right. So we got rubber pads. Let's put them off right here. Let's go ahead. I have all the screws also right here. Let me put them here. So here are all of our screws. These pieces, I'm going to put them back here. These are just the idlers we assembled. Probably don't need them. They'll be back here. And here are the rubber pads. And you're most likely going to have to grease these guys. I think I pre-read the instructions, and these need the grease in them. There's a very specific way of mounting them now. These being the X-axis bearings that I believe go onto the Z-axis. Actually, we probably won't grease them now. We'll probably grease them later. So, all right, pull this back a little bit. Maybe it'll help. Let's go back to the browser. We got all the parts we need. Mounting the bearings part. Look at that. I told you we're lubricating them. All right, let me grab it. The lubricant. They actually did something really cool now. Is the lubricant now comes in this little baggie. And it comes with these tips to lubricate the bearings. I think we're going to need the longer, the black one. Yeah, because the orange one is a little bit smaller. But for the longest amount of time, people were giving them crap because in the Mark III, I don't think you had to lubricate bearings like this, like inside the bearing. It was just, put a little bit on the rod and get it in there. And the printer, I have a printer that has thousands of hours on it, the Mark III, and I have not had issues. I've re-lubricated the bearings in the past, not because of issues, but just general maintenance. But I would assume that when you really load these up with lubricant, like inside, you probably won't have to re-lubricate them, which is just, one less maintenance thing you have to do. Is always nice with a printer. So let's get this open, and let's look at what we need to do here. So we got the lubricant. We have the lubricant applicator, which is the black one. It's the longer one. It's the bigger one. There are 2 versions, each with a different size. Several paper towels to wipe off oil and grease from the bearing surface. I do not have several paper towels. I'm going to go grab those right now. Each bearing must be lubricated before mounting on the printer. Follow the instructions carefully. Use the lubricant wisely. Less is better. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Insert the bearings and motor. I think these go on. Well, I guess it won't be accessible later. So I was going to say we should just lubricate it later. But because it's going into the holder, it won't work. I'm going to go grab a paper towel. I will leave it on this in case you want to read. I was just thinking right now how when you build this printer, they tell you exactly how many gummy bears to eat. But for cleaning the bearings, where is it? Several paper towels. There's no number, just several. Alright, so here's how we're going to lubricate the bearing. Use any piece of fabric as a pad to protect your work surface from grease. We have that. I'm going to clean up the surface right now. You'll see it here in just a second. All nice and clean. Making room for the bearing cleaning. That goes off to the side. And let's grab this paper towel. Put this right here. So, make sure the bearing is clean inside. I just opened the package. They should come clean, but we'll double check that. Wipe the preservative oil off the bearing surface with a paper towel. It is necessary to lubricate all 4 rows of balls inside of the bearing. Open the lubricant and pierce the hole in the tube with the cap. Screw the tube into the applicator. Carefully slide the entire bearing onto the applicator. So that's what it looks like once open. And to lubricate it, you turn the tube applicator clockwise until you feel slight resistance. This means the holes in the applicator are aligned with the ball rows. Gently press the tube to push the lubricant into the ball rows of the bearing. Remove the bearing from the applicator and look at the amount applied. Take a look at the 3rd picture, which shows a sufficient amount. So we're going to push it in, and we want picture number 3. Notice the outside is clean. This one probably was not applied correctly, and picture number 1 is just too little applied. We want it to look nice in there. So proceed. Let's see. The grease must be spread evenly. There must be a layer is enough. Take a closer look at the last picture. Proceed the same from the opposite side of the bearing. The lubricant must be applied along its entire length. So does that mean we have to flip the bearing and do both sides? And it looks like we're doing X end motor first. So why don't we just lubricate both bearings? Okay. We're gonna lubricate both of the bearings. Set this up so you get a nice good view of lubricating the bearings. Here is my paper towel. I'm gonna leave 2 on the table for my bearing. So here's the 2 that I do all my work on. And here's the 2 I will use to clean up. So let's lubricate both bearings. Once we lubricate both of them, I'm just going to leave them on the towel. So they come prepackaged in shipping grease. There's not a thick layer on here. So you just want to kind of lightly, gently clean off that grease. You don't want to get the grease off on the inside of the shipping oil. If you could, you probably would want to. But the main reason you want to get it out of the inside, you want paper fibers inside of that bearing. We can have it in the future. Right? You want to keep that inside clean and pristine. The rods that go into these are dimensionally almost perfect.
So, they're sliding up and down on these bearings. You don't want dust and dirt getting inside of there. So, all right, let's start with the first bearing. Here is my applicator. I did buy an extra one of these brickins just in case one wasn't enough. I actually bought it for my Mark III just to do general maintenance. So I'm glad I have an extra one just in case I screw it up. So I'm installing the applicator here at the top. And now you push this in just like that, and you spin until you get resistance. I have resistance right here. And then what we're doing, we're just pushing from the bottom up. This actually, the reason they want you to do both sides is you can't really see the applicator only went about this far. It went halfway through. So I'm going to push that in. There is, I think, 4 bearings to lubricate. So kind of, use that lubricant sparingly. I don't think that was enough. Nearly enough. We'll do that one again. Let's lock this in. And let's push. Yeah. There's some resistance in here. So. And it's okay to do a little bit. Take it out. Inspect your work. My thing here looks a little bit like picture 2, but I am might as well put a little bit more in there. Alright, I think I'm happy with the amount of lubricant there. And now I'm going back through the other side, but I didn't lubricate well enough. Push some lubricant in here. Alright. And we are thoroughly lubricated. That is a very lubricated bearing. I am going to finish this by gently trying to clean off the excess on the outside. I think there's just a little bit much on the outside that doesn't need to be there. Our goal is to lubricate the little balls inside the bearing. There's 4 rows of them. Can't really see. Yeah. I'm looking at the camera right now. That doesn't look all that good. So apologies for the darkness. The bearings inside are kind of dark. Maybe. There you go. Can you see? Let's see if I can align it. There's a row of ball bearings right there. Looks pretty well lubricated. Happy with that. Unless this one comes out much better than we do that one. All right. Let's clean off the shipping on this one. It's already pretty clean. All right. Same plan. You push it in. Just kind of turn it a little till you feel resistance, and then you push the lube out. Okay. Oh, that one's good. Even it coming out, the applicator just slid out on its own, which is a sign of lubrication. We're gonna click it in, and we're gonna push apply, and that looks good. I don't know if you can really see that, but that's pretty good. I'm gonna clean out the outside on this one too, just to prevent the grease on the printer and other parts. The grease here is definitely not important. It's important on the inside. It's the inside that counts. Who knew that they were always talking 3D printers when they said that? Sorry, ball bearings. Alright, and then this applicator, there's all this grease inside of there. It's stuck. You're never getting it back. Your investment is gone. And where is my applicator cap? I seem to have lost it again. I know it's around here somewhere.
let's go ahead and close this up. We will need this for later. So I'm going to put this off to the side. Although, the way that we're going to do this last piece is we're going to move these bearings off to the side like this. So they're back here. Now let's bring that browser back. We're now going to be doing this piece. So we've lubricated both bearings, and now we're going to insert them into the X-end motor. And the way that you do that is you push it in and position the bearing like the picture. The ball row must be oriented to the X. So we're looking for like an X shape on that. It might be kind of hard to see that in this. So here's X-end motor. You know this is the, so X-end motor, X-end idler. Motor part has a motor mount. Usually this like L piece signifies a stepper motor. X-end idler. This piece is going to have an idler mounted here somehow. It looks like they will go to each other like this. And it actually looks like these parts, actually no, I lied. They go together like this. So these bearings, I think, go on the Z-axis. So, all right, let's get these mounted up. I'm going to bring this browser back up here. Here's the part, same orientation as in the photo. And we're looking for the bearing to be in an X orientation. We'll grab one of the bearings. And I'm looking inside. It's actually a little bit dark. I think I'm going to get a light for the future so it's easier to see this sort of thing. But, and then I'm going to align it here, and I'm going to have to press it in because it looks a little bit tight. But honestly, I'm having trouble seeing that X. Oh, that actually went in really nice. Is it supposed to go further? It is supposed to go further. Or it's not supposed to go. What? How far is this thing supposed to go? That looks a lot deeper than how I have it. Okay. We're going to have to apply a little bit of a different type of grease. It's called elbow grease. So what we're going to do is we're just going to push on this until it clicks. Look at that. It just needed a little bit of encouragement. So once it's in there, rotating it is kind of hard. So make sure you get that X orientation before clicking it in. It's not going to spin anymore. This is still kind of covered in that shipping grease. Like I got some of it off. You're not going to get all of it off. It's just a little oily. And it's going to slip in your fingers, and you're going to get your fingers all dirty, and you don't want that. Just don't do it. So, okay. We got this piece done. Let's go back and look at what's next. So we got this inserted. Now we're going to insert the bearings pads. The bearings. This is where the 4 pads are going to go. So they're going into these pads right here. And that is what they look like. Apply the same procedure. Place the rubber pads in both pockets by putting your fingers on them. Okay? Okay, we can do that. So let's put this off to the side, both of these pieces, and let's grab these. So these are our bearing holders. Notice they have a cutout in here for those pads. We were asked to prepare 4 pads. I just have all the pads right here. All the pads. And they're just rubber pads. These are going to be just anti-slip for the bearing, and they're going to be like compression. So they'll hold the bearings in place, prevent them from moving. Because they're rubber, it'll also kind of grip the bearings. So there is 6 pads in this bag. I have removed 4. I don't know where else we would use these sort of pads. I know there's bearings for the Y-axis. The Z-axis does not have bearings. Actually, it does have the bearings for the Z-axis. This is the Z-axis bearings. But I don't think there's going to be pads used anywhere. Anyways, me rambling. So let's see how hard it is to put this rubber piece in. Oh, it's actually not that bad. It fits in really nice. And it kind of like almost clicks in there. As long as your parts are dimensionally accurate-ish. I think they have to cut this in some sort of machine because that is just satisfying
how well it goes in there. And then here's the second piece. Okay. The little bangs plastic fall off of it. You don't want that inside your bearing. Inside your bearing. Although would it really matter? As long as it's not inside your bearing, probably doesn't really matter. And this last piece we're struggling with. Come on, get in there. See, it's rubber, so it's doing the thing rubber does, and it's preventing the friction of it going in. So let's look at these pieces really quick. So these pieces, they look to be exact mirrors of themselves. So the orientation on these pieces is not. Oh, actually, I take that back. The orientation is going to matter. Notice that this piece right here has a little divot, and on the other side is this open. So I think I already have an idea of how it's going to go onto the parts, but make sure that the orientation of these pieces, when we assemble them in a few steps, is going to matter. It's going to be important. So let's put those off to the side. Apologies for the camera doing something weird there. All right, let's go back. Covering the bearings X-end motor. So the one that we just installed was inside of the motor, and look at that. It's telling us notice the little divot in this position. Slide the X-end clip onto the edge of the bearing, and then slide it down. And then we're going to attach some screws. These are going to be 4 M3x30 screws. How many did we take out? We took out 6 of them. So 4 of them are going to go here. Did we take out 8 of them? I have 6 of them. Okay. I'm sure there's a reason. So that goes on top, and that's going to screw through. All right, let's get this done. So here's the piece we just built. We're going to use one of these clips right here. Mine the side with the tiny little divot piece goes at the top. And it is going to kind of click on. That's kind of loud too. But notice the top side is going to hold that bearing in place, prevent it from moving. And now those rubber pieces are also going to further prevent that from moving. These M3x30s are going to go into those hexagonal that we put in earlier. So let's go ahead and screw them in, see what happens. When there's so much screwing. See, if I had power tools right now, this is where I would use a power tool. Not to tighten it, but just to get through the 30 minutes of screw. So much screw. So little time. Make sure this one. Seems this one is grab that nut on the other end. Has it? Or is it just kind of? Yeah. It's almost like grab the nut. Come on. See, probably should have used that nut pulling technique. Because I don't think it's grabbing. So clumsy. I don't think it's grabbing that nut.
to apply a little pressure to get it to. Slightly bigger piece. Note to future self. Building this thing in the future, definitely use that milling technique. The nuts were not deep enough. Alright. A nice push there. I think is what we need. Yeah, there we go. I can see that the nut is engaged. And with this, I mean, you don't really need to tighten all that much. Just somewhat tight. I actually made a slight mistake. You don't want to tighten these until you get all four screws in, and you don't want to tighten them until all four engage the nut. So the first one I kind of tightened. It's okay. It might cause issues. I might have to tighten it, which we can do. But don't do that for all of them. Make sure you get all of them. Make sure they make contact. You'll have much better time. Don't be clumsy. Just drop everything. The part in there too is also very dimensionally accurate. There's not a lot of extra space for it to do anything. Alright, basically there. Let's see if we have contact. I don't think we do. Yeah, the nut's kind of flailing around. Let's push it in there a little bit, and I think we got contact now. There we go. I can see it, contact. Alright, the final screw. Did I already mention how happy I am that they don't say, oh yeah, this is supposed to be built in 2 hours, or 20 minutes? Because I'm pretty sure I'm an hour in, barely done anything. I do find this enjoyable. This is nice. Building this, learning how it works, the amount of effort that goes into designing something like this, the fact that they could sell you a kit to, here you build this, and the manuals they put together, they put so much effort into this, and it's so nice to be able to play with this and build it. Alright, that one is grabbed. Alright, I think I'm doing a good job of this here. This one is engaged. This top one is not engaged. And that'll engage it now. That feels like it engaged, but I don't think it did. If you're Joe Prusa watching this, I did not use the screw pulling technique, so that's my bad. Totally should have. I was like, oh look, these kind of just go in on their own, I don't need to do this. Also, I don't necessarily enjoy screwing in these screws. Makes my hands hurt. And now this final one is doing the same thing, so we're going to use the bar technique, which you just push on the nut and you can engage, and then here you just screw it in, and that'll grab the thread and it'll pull it in. Look at that. Works just as well for the lazy. Alright, that looks beautiful. Look at that. I believe that is our X-axis motor assembled. Let's move on. So we got this piece done. Inserting the X bearing into the X end idler. So we're going to be inserting into the next piece. We are going to be positioning the bearing so it's oriented in an X-shaped fashion. Slide the remaining X end clip and then attach it. So this uses two different types of screws. It uses M3x30 on the holes on the left side, so that's in purple, and M3x18 on the right side. Tighten the screws completely, but oh boy, we needed to do diagonally, didn't we? Alright, let's fix this one, because we didn't do that. And then we'll do the other one. So we're gonna loosen these screws just a little bit here. And I feel that they have kind of released. So diagonally, so we're gonna start at the top. Work our way like this. That is tightened. We're gonna tighten this one. That's tight. And then this one. And it's tight. And finally this last one. And that is tight. Alright. We fixed that one. Let's move on to this one. So with this one, this is what the X carriage looks like once we put everything in. So this goes onto the left side, this goes onto the right side. Let's grab this second bearing. And now with this second bearing, we're looking inside there. Let me see if I can get an angle where you can actually see the light. Probably not with my hand back there. Can't really see it. I can barely see it. So we're just going for an X orientation on these, which is right about there, and we're going to push it in. And we are in, and we are aligned. Yeah, it's in an X orientation. I don't know if you can see it in there. Plus the camera's not helping. That angle isn't going to work. I'll try to get a light for next time. Alright, and then here's the clip with the rubbers. Mind the orientation of that top clip. We're gonna just push it right on top and then push down. Alright, and opening the browser up again. Let's see, which one of these was the... So the longer screws go on the inside and the shorter screws go on the outside. So longer screws, shorter screws. Let's start with the longer ones. Uh-oh. Square nut just fell out from where? Oh, over here. Yeah, these are a little, not that strong. Oh, look, that's where the M3x18 is. Let's put one in right now so that doesn't fall out again. Ha ha ha. I have not screwed it in all the way. It's just through the nut, just barely. But anyways. Nut 0, me 1. Okay, that's partially there. Now the fun ones. Ones that take a long time to screw in. Because we got 30 millimeters of screw to get through. Then they hit plastic and go slower. I wonder what this piece was for. This little piece right here. I don't think we put anything under there. It's gonna be something critical later. I'm just gonna feel stupid not having. I don't know what that's for. It's covered now. Okay. That is also not in the way. Now this second one. Not all the way in with these just yet. So let's start with the diagonal. So this top one right here. Making contact with the nut at the bottom. And this one really good contact. So it has grabbed the nut, and it is fully tightened. Moving on to this diagonal. So I tightened this one already. Now I'm tightening this one. And this one's going to be easier contact because it's going through that square nut. But same with this one. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it. Oh, it's really tight. And now moving on to the last diagonal, top to bottom. So this one right here. This one's also going in that square nut. And there we go. Tight. And finally, this last one is going into this hexagonal there at the bottom. I think hexagonal 6. Because hexagonal would be 7. It'll make hexagonal. Nuts. Alright. And that one's tight too. Alright. Congratulations. Now assembled the XN idler. Let us move on. I think we're ready for the next piece. So we've done that. Now the X-axis. So for the please prepare. Notice that you have received 3 different lengths of smooth rod. We recommend arranging them all side by side for easier comparison. Smooth rod 8 by 370, 2 times the longest couple. Wipe off the preservative oil, and we're going to need LM8UU bearings, 3 of them. So we want the longest rods. The nice thing that we have going for us here, clean up this a little bit, is they are the longest rods. So it's very easy to tell them apart. But like they said, they recommend to organize them in a way easy to identify them. So here are the rods that come with the pushing kit, and a nice little cardboard here. You'll notice that I organize the rods and put them here. This is what they look like. So what's dangerous is these right here, because these are almost the same length. Right? There's only, I think, 5 millimeters difference. But on the bright side, there's different thickness. So you technically should not be able to install them correctly. We're lucky though. We want the longest ones, which are right here. Take them, put them down. They are the 8 by 370, so they're 370 millimeters long, 8 millimeter diameter rods. And let's bring that browser back up. So it wants us to go ahead and clean them up. It also wants us to take out these 3 linear bearings. So in your X carriage booklet, your baggie, you're going to have these 3 bearings. And then second I'll pull these out. Make sure I don't grab any other stuff. There's like standoffs in here and all sorts of fun parts in the X-axis bag, which we will actually be using here later. So here are these 3 right here. What I'm actually going to do right now is we're going to clean the parts. So these are going to go off to the side right here, just off camera, and bring these back to the center. These rods also have a little bit of shipping oil on them. They're a little oily. So just grabbing a clean paper towel, just wipe them down. You probably won't get all the oil off, but honestly getting 90% of it off helps tremendously. Also, just cleaning them, because they're going to go into probably these bearings. You want to keep them clean. Alright, you don't want to gunk in your bearings. Gunking your bearings is never fun. So, I'm going to cut all 3 of these open. Fill them out onto that plate, and then clean them. And we are not going to need that visual here for now. Put this on to the side. Inside of these bags, you can actually see the shipping oil. So these were shipped in a little bit more shipping oil. I don't think the shipping oil comes from Prusa. I believe wherever they buy them from, I've seen bearings like this before that come with the shipping oil. So they're not adding the shipping oil. But whatever manufacturer is doing this is top notch. Like that's how you want to ship them. You don't want these things rusting inside of the bag, and you know it's good quality when there's shipping oil in there. They care about the product that they're giving to you. Here's the second one. I'm gonna take it out like candy because of the shipping oil. Gets all over your fingers, and then you got a sticky printer. Sticky oily printer. Okay. There's bearing number 2. And bearing number 3. They're pretty clean too. Alright, let's go back to the browser. Let's see what's going on. So we got the bearings, and we got the 8x370 rods, the longest ones. Alright, we're going to assemble the x-axis. This is why we need to mark the bearings. So position the bearings so you can see the 2 rows of balls like in the picture. And you're going to mark with a permanent marker on the outer surface of the bearing in the middle above the 2 rows of balls. Oh, so you need to mark them now because later you need to align the bearings correctly. That makes a lot of sense. I guess if in the future you were going to do this, it'd probably be a good idea if the bearings themselves came marked. Like this is metal. You could definitely put something on the metal to easily mark it. Or even on the plastic. You know, some little line. Let me go get a Sharpie for this. So we're going to be making a mark with a permanent marker on the outer surface in the middle above the 2 rows of balls. So all 3 bearings here are going to be marked. Let's mark these bearings. So inside of here there are 4 rows of balls. So I'm going to mark them right here. It's right here. I wish this had a finer tip, but it's pretty good. Alright, moving on to the next one. We're going to align it, and then if I could only draw straight lines, it would help tremendously. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that one. And then the final one, align it, and draw a straight line. Okay. This. Oh my god, you can't see it because there's like this is the best one. The second one was the worst one. The first came out okay. If I did 5 more, I'd be an expert at this. Alright, we have marked all of them. Now, assembling the x-axis, we're now going to have to lubricate these. These require the small orange LM8UU bearing organizer, or lubricator. So we're going to need that, we're going to need this, and we're going to need a paper towel. And they don't tell you how many paper towels, so 2. 2 is how many you need. Alright, make sure use any piece of fabric to pad and protect your work surface from grease. Make sure the bearing is clean inside. Wipe the preservative oil off the bearing. We've done that. Now we need to make sure all 4 rows of balls have been lubricated. So this one is a little bit different, where we won't be lubricating from both sides. We'll actually only be lubricating from one side, because the applicator itself is long enough. So let's grab these. This is our old applicator. Move the bearings forward right here. And I'm going to do best to make sure you can see what's going on. So here is the shorter bearing lubricator. We're gonna take the lubricant we just used, like 3 steps ago. We're gonna install it onto the applicator, like so. So it's on there. And we're going to follow the same procedure. We're going to put it in, and we're going to spin. And I was only able to get about an eighth of a turn spin before it docked up. Now we're going to have to fill the applicator first, because the applicator, this one has no lubricant in it. Once the applicator is full, then we just kind of push some lubricant in. Alright, take it out and see how good we are. There is nothing in there. Alright, let's try it again. Probably all into the applicator, or it's going backwards. So let's try the toothpaste method. We take this, and we're gonna start squeezing it forward. You know, at some point there was a Prusa contest for 3D printed stuff, printables, where they saw that someone submitted like a toothpaste picture like this. So you know, just throwing it out there might not be a bad idea to add one into this kit. I see the grease coming out the top already. So I think we're probably good now. Oh, look at that! It even slides out nice and greased. So I don't know if you can. Oh, that look at that! You can kind of see it. So the inside has a good layer of grease on it. We are happy with that one. Moving on to the next one. We insert. We push just a little bit to lock it, and then we insert grease. Oh. There we go. I see the grease coming out the top, and usually you know that it's well lubricated. Even this thing, like it going in does not go in easily. It's actually very hard. But then coming out, if it kind of glides out, you know you lubricated it pretty well. Also, just the inside just looks dry in this one compared to this one that just has a layer of grease in it. All right, let's lubricate the last one to get this party rolling. Okay, I see the grease coming out the top and the bottom. Look at that. Even it just slides out so nice. So alright, I'm gonna clean off these right here. Just to keep them clean. You know, not greasy. We don't get grease all over our fingers while building this kit. Happy with that one. And finally this one. We're happy with all of them. Alright. Let's remove the applicator now. I'm sure that the applicator probably has future uses. It probably doesn't. But the nice thing about grease is grease is not going to go bad. Grease never goes bad. So throw both of these applicators in the bag. And then I'm going to close the bag. And this is now a Prusa MK4 bag. Look at that. Clean the fingers off. Close the extra lubricant packet thingy. And we are good. We have completed the lubrication of the three bearings. I think I have the camera. So there we are. Alright, what's next? Alright, we have done the bearings. May leave excess grease on rods after the installation. Wipe off. This is what they should look like. Mine look probably more like number 2. I did get some grease on the outside. I cleaned that off, but the inside is definitely well lubricated. Alright, assemble the X-axis, inserting the smooth rods. So insert the smooth rods all the way into the X-end idler. And don't tilt the rods too much. Slide 3 bearings onto the smooth rods. So this is how we need to get the bearings on there. 2 go onto the bottom, 1 goes onto the top. And then what are we looking at here? If you manage to push out balls from the bearings, please count them. 1 or 2 balls are okay. If there are more of them, please consider ordering. Okay, yeah, just be careful with the balls falling out of the bearings, I guess. Through inspection holes, smooth rods are in touch with the screws inside. Oh, so there should be inspection holes. Okay, let's go back to this image. I think this image is the best view of what we're trying to do here. So here is the rod holder, and what we're going to do is we're going to install the rods. Oh boy, and that is quite tight. Yeah, don't bend the rods. Okay, what if the rods don't want to go in? Then what do you do? Maybe top down is the way to go. No, it is not. Alright, I guess it's just pushing down on them. I'm going to apply the elbow grease that we've discussed in the past. Trying not to bend the rods here too much to get them to actually go into this holder. Yeah, and it hasn't made the right contact inside there. Is the second one going nicely, or is it also going to be a struggle? Kind of clicked in. I wonder if... Okay, well, now they're in, they're not coming out. So, let's see. Try applying pressure like this from the top. Definitely don't want to bend the rods. Let's see. We still have not made contact with the screws. I think in the future I'd print this ABS a little bit bigger. I printed this at 100.5%. I'd probably go 101 or 101.5 even. This is very tight for these rods. that has gone in just a little bit.
I think based on where we're at, so we're currently at 3 hours, 30 minutes. I think I'm going to call it a day today. And then get back tomorrow and try to get this in, and maybe try to get these put in. So we are on step 21 of the x-axis. We didn't make it all the way through. It looks like there's actually almost 20 more steps to go. So thank you all that have joined. Have a good rest of your day or evening.